So this bike, unreal. I know a lot of people have been saying, oh, Brett, why'd you switch? And I don't want to say anything bad about a Honda. I've just always been such a diehard Honda guy, and it just almost hurts to say something that's not positive about it. But I really, it goes to me. I didn't know what I was doing. Honestly, I didn't know a thing about, and not that I do now, but I didn't know what, like, if somebody asked me about my shock or my forks or how they felt or whatever, I would just say, yeah, they're good, or they're not good. Like, I just didn't really know how or why, and I didn't even really know that they were good. Honestly, after riding this thing, I'm just like, I just was so uncomfortable on the Honda for so long that I just didn't even really realize that I was uncomfortable. I kind of thought that I was losing my ability and not that I had a lot, I know I keep saying something like that, but I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, but I'm just saying I wasn't riding as good as I knew how to ride on that thing, and it was frustrating, and I just thought it was because I was getting older or whatever, and it turns out after getting on this thing, like, I've never felt like I should or could or belong being any sort of a test rider. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you about on my Honda what my bike was doing or why it was doing it or have any sort of a feeling. And on this one, I don't know if it's because of the fact that I did it different. Usually whenever I get a bike, I'll put a whole bunch of stuff on it, and then you never really can tell what you did and what is making a difference. You're just chasing your tail the whole time. You really don't know what the problem is. And that's one thing I'd advise anybody. Just, you can put as much stuff as you want or you feel like your bike needs, but make sure to do it one at a time. That way you can actually single out what your bike is doing, why it's doing it, and how to fix it. And that's one thing I've learned on this bike. Like I said, I don't feel like I ever knew what I was doing when it comes to testing, but on this bike, I can tell exactly, like, when I'm getting to the point in the lean in the corner, whenever the tires start to give, or what the suspension's doing, or how my front end's not quite staying put in the corner, and it's trying to lift a little bit, and that's causing me not to be able to corner as well as I should. Just things like that. It's just little things that, and I never really felt that before. So it's really cool to be able to. I've ridden for as long as I have. I've ridden for 20, I don't even know how long I've been riding, like 30 years probably. But anyways, I've never felt anything like this, and it's cool to be able to feel it and to be able to actually tell. Like, whenever somebody used to say something about the bike doing this or that and how they need to do 2 clicks softer, I was like, dude, you're just making stuff up. You don't know what you're talking about. But I do realize now that there is a difference between things like that, and it's really cool to feel that. So I'm so pumped to be on this bike, and I mean, I really didn't know that was the case before I got on this bike, this 26. Whenever I bought it, I knew I rode a couple 23s, 24s, and I felt like I got on every one and I expected the worst. I was like, okay, this is Yamaha, it's gonna feel like a big dog, and I'm not gonna like it. And I got on the first one, I started jumping everything like first lap. And it was crazy that I'm not like that. Like, as much as I love jumping and all that, I just usually roll the track a couple times and I look it over. But this, I like saw from the side, saw there was nobody there, saw it was the same thing from what I could tell, and I just jumped on. And it was a cool feeling to be on there, and it was on somebody else's bike nonetheless. And it was pretty cool to see that. And then on the handling part of it, I mean, there was a couple powdery berms that are on that Sunset that I know this one all too well, because nobody else really hits it. I kind of do it just so I get a better run, just jumping. And I was out there, and it's normally pretty fluffy, and I don't really do very well with it. And I kind of sink into it and don't really have much control, which I know what you're thinking. But on this bike, it felt like I was on invisible train tracks. It was unreal. It was like the bike just went chugga right through the corner. And then it wasn't even set up for me either. That was the second one I rode. It was a 23. It was probably a practice bike at some point. It was just not in the best shape, and it was completely soft, like way too soft for me. And it's still, I just got on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make myself feel better, and I'm gonna hate this. Good to see you. You too. It was really, really cool to get on that thing that I really expected the worst. And then I got off it, and I'm like, on the way back home, that day, I was already on the phone trying to figure out how I could get a Yamaha. And really the reason I even got on the Yamaha in the first place is because my bike broke. My sprocket came off and my chain came off and bent my shift shaft on my Honda. And that caused a little bit of a bike ordeal for a little bit. So that's why I even test rode that Yamaha in the first place that day. And then I fell in love. So I'm really excited to be on this thing. It's a really cool bike and a good bike to be on. I had a couple problems with it. I'm sure you guys probably seen it on Instagram, on all that. I was having some trouble with the way it was kind of running, like it was starting idle flooding. And I didn't really know what the problem was. I assumed there was some water in there somewhere, but I didn't really know what or where. So I took it apart and kind of took the spark plug out and took a couple of the connections apart, and then it still wasn't running right. So I just whatever set it on the side, and I called somebody that I knew, waited for them to help me out, and I got a call back and I was like, hey, listen to this thing. Started and it was fine. I'm like, all right, that's weird. So I rode the next day and it was all good all day. It was all fine. And then the next time I went out to ride, or I washed it after that. I didn't really need to, but I figured I might as well just to kind of see if it did it again. Sure enough, it did. I couldn't get it to actually start this time though and run right. It was like super inconsistent idle. It was idling and now I put it in gear and it would just rev up super high. And so I actually almost died one night, or I almost put a hole in Brooke's car because I unplugged the kill switch and then I started it up just to see if that would help it. And I'm like, let me click in gear and see if I can I'll just kill it like that. And turns out that was a bad idea because as soon as I kicked it into gear, it revved up, and then I'm sitting there in the garage with the clutch in second gear, like revved half throttle, and I'm like, what do I do now? This is not good. So I immediately panic, and luckily I didn't. Well, I probably could have plugged the kill switch back in, but that would have caused a lot of probably. It would have been hard with the right hand on the left side, and I was like, okay, well, I just put it on the carpet because I had like a linoleum floor, ish floor, and the slick in the garage, and so I put the carpet underneath there, the Cherby's carpet, and thank goodness I had that because I luckily dumped the clutch and it sent it back a little bit. So if I wouldn't have had that, it probably would have been trouble. But if you guys have any advice or any suggestions on how I should have gone ahead and killed that bike on a whim thinking, I'd love to hear it in case that ever happens again, because I thought I was gonna put a hole in Brooke's car or the garage door. So yeah, anyways, love this bike and super happy to be on it. I always love my Honda, man. It's good times to be on it, but I'm really glad that I'm here because I'm at that stage where I just need to be comfortable on my bike. I don't need to go throw it upside down bigger than anybody else or go faster than anybody else until I get there. So maybe this bike will go upside down too. We haven't taken off too many jumps just yet, but we'll get there. Thanks for watching, guys. or so. Woo, that's great. How's it going? Are you having fun yet?
Oh yeah.
What's going on?
How are you?
Good.
Good,
Figure
good.
out your dilemma with this?
I don't know, man.